Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. And Bentley and I are at Black Creek Park in Chilai. This is within walking distance of my house. And we came over here looking for clovers. I woke up this morning and had some questions about clovers that I thought we could talk about. But first, yesterday, I gave you 4 math problems. One of them was my wife was baking and she needed 2 cups and fluid ounces. She wanted to know how many fluid ounces in 2 cups. Well, what you need to know is 1 cup equals 8 fluid ounces. So 2 cups would, of course, be 16 fluid ounces. I got that one right. Michael said he wanted to know 3 hours was how many minutes? Well, there's 60 minutes in an hour. So 180 minutes was the correct answer, which I also got right. Victoria had 40 books from Miss Varley that she was going to try to read in the next 10 days. And I gave her the advice of reading 4 books a day, and that was correct also. And Catherine was playing the trumpet, and she needed to know how many 16th notes were in a quarter note. Hopefully my musicians out there knew that off the top of their head and didn't have to do any math. But if not, a 16th note, let's see, if we had 2 16ths, that would be an 1/8. And if we have 4 16ths, that would be a quarter. So the correct answer was 4. I think I said 2 yesterday, so I got that one wrong. So today, I'm looking for clovers. Everyone's heard of 4-leaf clovers, and we thought we'd go outside and look for some clovers in the yard, and almost all of my grass is dead right now, so we couldn't find any. So that's why we roamed down the street, and across the street actually, to here to look for clovers, and we found some right over here. And what we noticed is that it looks like they're all 3-leaf clovers. And my question is, well, what about 4-leaf clovers? I mean, it is St. Patty's Day, and I always thought that they were like a myth, but I had a neighbor that used to always find them in their yard and would bring them to school and always have 1 or 2 of them all the time. And I never understood it because I could never find them, but I never really gave it any time. So it made me wake up today and think, how hard is it to find a 4-leaf clover? So, did a little Google search and found out that a 4-leaf clover, which do exist, is a gene mutation. So it does happen. It's a recessive gene that happens very rarely, but does happen. And how rare? 1 out of every 10,000, which makes sense. It'd be pretty lucky to find one because there's 1 out of every 10,000. And I'm looking here on how many clovers, like how much of a search would we have to do to find a 4-leaf clover? Well, I did another search on how many clovers grow in a certain amount of area. And what I found was 200 clovers in 60 square centimeters. And I converted that to inches. It's about 9 square inches have 200 clovers. So if you can see right down here, I have 2 rulers showing 3 inches by 3 inches. And I put a little piece of branches here, which show about 9 square inches. Now, supposedly, in season, there's 200 clovers there. So we're going to do this question in 2 different parts because I'm looking and I'm saying there's not 200 there. So let's say there was 200, which must be when it's springtime, which is not till next week. Maybe we'll come back next week and try this. So if there were 200 in this space for every 9 square inches, how big of an area would we have to search to find a 4-leaf clover? So that's question number 1. Question number 2 is, what if I want to find one right now? So let's take a look. In this space right here, there's a bunch, and hopefully you can see right here. Can you zoom in a little bit? Come a little closer.
Zoom in?
Just come a little closer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I would say there's a little more than, maybe about 60 in this space. We're going to say 60. I counted really fast. It's not an exact science, but there's about 60 in this spot today. So if there's 60 in 9 square inches. Obviously, I'm gonna have to cover an even larger grid today to find myself a 4-leaf clover. So, what you need to know is 10,000, 1 out of every 10,000. There's 60 in this space right here. This is a 3-inch by 3-inch, which is 9 square inches. How big of a grid are we going to need to find 1? In other words, how big of a grid are we going to need to have 10,000 clovers in it? I'm thinking of the number 10,000. I'm picturing this enormous space. We're probably going to have to go through this whole area. Who knows? It's going to take us forever. Maybe not. Do the math. I'll see you tomorrow for Boy Scout.